Hello, everyone. Welcome to our second snack break. So we are excited to present Jake from FitJoy today. Oh, there you are. Now I see you. Hey, good to see you.
Hello.
So we're so excited to have Jake on. Jake has spent his entire career building and shaping consumer goods and different brands. He worked at Red Bull for 7 years. He was also recently the executive director of Naturally Awesome, which we heard from earlier. And now he's the marketing director at FitJoy. So welcome, and we are so excited to have you.
Thank you. So excited to be here.
Amazing. Okay, so we'll jump right in because I know FitJoy is a fan favorite. How did it come about? So how was it born? Where did it come from? Give us all those good details we don't always get as a consumer.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we have a quite interesting history, but really the purpose of our organization and why we exist is to create joyful snacks fit for all. And what that really means is to make amazing tasting snacks that are more nourishing and more accessible than anything else out there. And that challenge can lead you in a bunch of different directions, right? It led us to bars for a little bit, creating a grain-free bar. And we recently applied that mantra to our favorite snack, which is pretzels, which we launched last year. And we've just seen them take off and people fall in love with them. And we've been launching a bunch of different flavors because of that. And now we're fully dedicated to just this whole process of where are there snacks that are hard for people that either have dietary restrictions or allergens that they can't enjoy or can't bring into their household or their friend group. Let's make them accessible, but let's also make them taste absolutely amazing in the process. And it's been a formula that's been a lot of fun and worked really well for us. So yeah, that's how we go about creating products. Yeah, it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's amazing. Because I mean, that space, like being a dietitian, I see so many people who crave that really yummy taste, but they
Right.
can't find it when they have restrictions. So I want to get you to talk a little bit more about that. So obviously that's the problem you guys are solving in the market, but what do you see from your customers? Like, I'm sure you get like such good response from them, like getting to taste the good snacks. So I would love to hear a little bit more about that problem and solve.
Yeah, so I mean, we have a lot of diehard fans out there. So we do a survey, and we basically ask our consumers, how likely are you to recommend our products and brand to your friends and family? And that score is like at a 65, and the industry score for CPG is at like a 30, and the salty snack brand, specifically pretzels, is at like 15. So people absolutely, that's a very technical way to say people absolutely love our products, mainly because they are bringing joy again back into the snacking habits of their friends and friend group and family. It's a common problem when someone in the family is gluten-free or grain-free or allergic to really anything, and being able to bring the simple joy of a pretzel back into a friend group or a family is really sticky, and people really love it. And for that, we see consumers just really engaging with us online, but also really doing amazing things with our products. Some of the most inspiring recipes that I've ever seen created with our products. People get super creative with them and just really, really love the products, but also what we stand for, which is, to create real joy in the world and help people find more ways to add joy to their lives.
Yeah, I mean, I think we all need that in 2020
Right.
especially.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's awesome. Okay, on social, did I see like a yummy like jalapeno pretzel nacho recipe?
So you did, which again is just like mind blowing. So we just launched our Hatch Chili Lime pretzel. Which is really, it's like just a really yummy snack. But also for those people that used to have or may still have a Takis or Flaming Hot Cheetos addiction, but like want to avoid all the artificial flavors and gluten and grain and corn and all that stuff, like this snack has quickly shown as like a really great replacement for people who enjoy that type of flavor profile. So anyway, yeah, we had a consumer create a spicy dairy-free cheddar tot, which I was like, no, I like those words combined. Like I never would have thought of that before, but yeah, that was a really, again, an example of a really interesting recipe that a consumer came up with. So
yeah, that's really interesting. Do you guys see a lot of that with your consumers actually coming at you with these really awesome recipes that you can share? That's very interesting.
yeah, we do. We see a lot of organic engagement of consumers just being excited to create with a new product, and again, it just really goes down to that foundation of people not having access to gluten-free and grain-free pretzels that actually taste amazing, and so they're super excited to make little like snack bars and put them in their baking recipes and then create cheddar tots out of them, because yeah, there's not a grain and gluten-free pretzel out on the market that tastes as good as ours, and so it's driven a lot of excitement amongst that community. So
Yeah, I mean, I love them personally, so I can relate because, like, trying to keep on all those like dietary, like being really inclusive is awesome. Okay, I have to ask. It's 2020, COVID, this era
Sure.
of like mass change.
Yep.
What's changed at FitJoy?
Oh my gosh, so much has changed. So when I joined the team, I joined in January, and I basically was briefed with the challenge of let's drive trial. Let's make sure we show up physically in the stores really well, and basically all the foundational traditional CPG marketing tactics. And that was more or less my brief coming into the brand. And then of course COVID hit, and it completely shifted what I needed to do. And so we at that point we had allocated about 80% of our budget to what I call IRL marketing, in real life marketing. So trial, events, in-store displays, and we had to basically flip that to do URL marketing, so digital, so e-commerce, merchandising, paid media, content marketing, paid search, things like this. So yeah, that was the first big shift. And then I think another really exciting shift was, as a marketer, I want to be able to go and talk to the consumers and get to know the consumers, because I'm a believer that anecdotal insights are just as important as data-driven insights, because they just add a lot of texture to kind of the dry data insights that you can get. And so without being able to go out and talk to consumers at events, during sampling interactions, and I was really, struggled, frankly, for a little bit of like, how do I bring those insights back so I can get to know my consumer and really foster the fire that already exists because of the product. And it really forced me to get deep into social media, and really like have conversations with consumers and reach out to consumers that are giving us feedback of like, hey, I wish it was easier to find your product here, or something like that, and really like take time with those consumers to pull out those anecdotal insights, as well as pairing them with all the data that we're getting through all the e-commerce channels as well. So that was a big change as well. But I think the outcome is that we still are having a really great relationship with our consumers and know how to foster the community. And I think it has forced us to expand who we think our consumer is as well. For I think the beginning, before the pandemic, we thought, you know, people in health and wellness, like that's where it's at. But now we've started to see like entertainment and beauty and creative visual art, like that's actually a community of people who are interested in our products as well. I don't know if it has to do something with the psychology of of a crunchy snack or not. I don't know, but they have, that community seem to really latch onto our products as well. So
that's awesome. And you would have never maybe known that if it hadn't been
totally
for this.
Totally.
So with that like connection aspect, I know you already talked about it pretty in depth, but that's something I would really like to learn more about is how are you creating those connections online? Because it's so different than in person.
Yeah, it is. And I think, I mean, as like flat and like non-actionable as this is going to sound, it's literally just being human, you know, and just really taking the time to have an honest, kind of unbiased, non-judgmental conversation with your consumers, you know, and not try and sell them anything, not try and like, you know, get them to you know, purchase more or tell them where to buy the product or anything like that. Just simply getting to know them. And, you know, like, for example, if someone posts about our product on a story or something, the first thing I always ask is, first thing I always say is, thank you for the love. Number one, really, thank you for the love. Number two is, what did you think? And then number three, have you tried any of our other products? And that, like, that just starting with like the human, like, hey, thank you for the appreciation. That just opens up like just a non-judgmental, very human interaction that can happen online. So that's the formula that I've kind of seems to have worked for me to create those human connections. And then another piece is like really going back to the purpose of our organization. You know, I said at the beginning, like, joyful snacks fit for all and creating real joy. So really thinking about the partners that we work with, right? So we're not going to go work with, you know, someone who is just famous just because they're famous. Not hating on the Kardashians. I think the Kardashians have a lot of really great things to offer, actually. But we probably would never work with like a Kendall Jenner. Instead, we might work with someone who is maybe not as popular, but their passion is really all centered about like giving back to people or helping people grow, or helping people find joy. And those are the types of partners that we want to work with. And an example of that is the Just Keep Living Foundation, which is Matthew and Camila McConaughey's foundation. And they're dedicated to helping high schoolers learn life skills to you know, prolong joy in their life. And so it's a perfect fit of our purpose and their purpose. And so we work a lot with them on content creation. We work with them on giving our teams time to their students. So our product expert is going to talk to, you know, high school students in underprivileged communities about nutrition and how to create a nutritional diet. And so those, like, that purpose allows us to create a really honest relationship with a community so that we're not like going awry and going after just the big names. And we had someone recently, some YouTube influencer with 1.5 million followers reach out to us, and we didn't like, we weren't like stammering to be like, yes, please, 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 you know, because we knew that, like, while she was cool and influential and all that stuff, like, it wasn't a super perfect match for us. And if she decides to post, great, cool, awesome. And if not, like, that's totally fine as well. We'd rather spend more energy and time for people that are more closely connected with our core purpose.
That is Amazing. So like I'm even learning so many cool things. And can we find that information on your website?
Yeah, so we're in the process of it's like just a sneak peek of it right now. We're not super deep in it yet. We're in the process of making that program a little bit more clear. But yes, there is a little bit of that information on the bag and on the website. But we're in the process of cleaning all that up and being much more clear about what our kind of give back position is, and how it fits with our core business. And we look to launch that about April next year.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And like digging into that, is that difficult as a marketer? You know, obviously you want to get this product in as many people's hands as possible from a sales point of view, but from that really balanced human point of view, can that be difficult sometimes?
Yeah, for sure, for sure. I mean, especially in COVID, right? Coming from Red Bull, their whole sampling, program is centered on finding people in a relevant moment, and giving them a human experience. So it's never a forceful sampling environment. You want to find someone when they need energy, but you don't want to say explicitly, hey, take this, it will give you energy. You want to spend time with the consumer and say, what are you out here doing? Tell me about it. Oh, that's super interesting. Did you think about maybe having a Red Bull to help you accomplish what you're about to get into? And that like whole human connection is just so important to not only create a product purpose in the consumer, but also a brand loyalty in the consumer as well. And it's been super difficult to find sampling opportunities, trial opportunities in COVID that allow that to take place. The best place that I've seen that take place is through social media, to where someone says something about trying our product for the first time, tags us, and we say, hey, have you tried something else? They say no, and we say, oh man, we would love for you to try that. So that adds like, okay, they've looked behind the curtain, they see there's a real person behind it, and there's a trial happening there. And then there's a bunch of partners out there that help us get scale, but don't really get that human connection. And that it's nice, and it's definitely helped us drive trial a lot, and we believe in our product really speaks for itself as well. But working with organizations like Snack Magic and Snack Nation, which their whole process or purpose is helping people working from home have snacks to get through their workday. Those have been really great partners for us as well, to drive scale and trial. But the human interaction that drives trial, that's been a little tough, to be honest, but it's happened best on social media. So
that's awesome to hear. Like that you're utilizing it for real connection. We've all watched Social Dilemma by now. So.
Yeah, right.
So it's good you're using it for like really positive, like joyful connection.
Yeah.
Before I jump into the questions, we do have quite a few. I want to give you just like a quick opportunity to tell us where you can get your products.
Yeah.
After this talk, everyone's going to want to go try them. So I know they were in the box, but where else can we find you?
Yeah, so we're at Whole Foods, for probably most of the people that are on this call. Whole Foods. If you're in the Northeast, we're in Wegmans up there, as well as a bunch of different retailers up there. And then we've got some really great presence in Southern California in all of the Vons, Albertsons, Safeways, all of that stuff. And if none of those fit, you can always find us on Thrive Market, Amazon, and our website, fitjoyfoods.com.
Awesome. Okay, so first question is about you.
Oh.
So, spotlight. What do you love about working at FitJoy?
I think it's centered on that purpose of creating real joy, being able to wake up every day and think that, okay, my purpose today is to introduce a snack that is going to allow families to bring joy back into their snacking, families that have restrictive diets in their families or friend groups or whatever. Like that's my job as a marketer for FitJoy. I think that is the number one thing I love about it. The second thing is our team. Our team is awesome. They're super dedicated and really love what they do, and really amazing people to work with. And then the third piece is just the challenge of growing a brand, a small brand. It's a challenge that is motivating and like forces self-growth. And for that reason, it's that I really enjoy that. So those two things.
Yeah, that sounds amazing. And then another question about you. What have you learned, like in your marketing leadership role? What have you learned about that leadership?
Oh, man.
Tough questions. They're coming at you.
I think, again, this is like such a like weird answer, but I mean, leadership is all about being human and being able to listen and understanding the problems that exist in every department, right? And really understanding how to add value to the entire team across from marketing across all other departments. So, I think the problem with marketing leadership sometimes is that you get so honed in on like being this like creative, like kind of sexy part of the department or whatever, which you can be like, great, awesome. But you also have to make sure that you are working cross-functionally and what the problems exist on the product and what problems exist on the operation and what problems exist on the sales end and the successes as well, so that you can celebrate and collaborate with all of those pieces. So it's really all about listening to your colleagues and knowing how you can truly add value to the business across all functions, not just sales, not just marketing, but also operations and product as well. So yeah.
Yeah, that's a big challenge, but I'm sure you're doing great. And then I think we're right at time for questions. There is one more. We've got lots about if you're hiring. Sounds like you've got great crunchy snacks. So lots of love in the questions section. But we really appreciate you coming and being a part of this. And one more time, where can we find you, just so everyone knows?
Go to www.fitjoyfoods.com.
Oh, and follow them on Instagram. What's your
And
Instagram?
follow us on Instagram, FitJoy.
Great. Thank you so much for taking the time to spend time with us today.
Thank you, Kate. I really appreciate it.